afternoon, somewhere deep in the black heart of Black Diamond,
Suffering.
the bright, shining heart of Black Diamond, we're speaking today with Anthony ABO, a long time, very long time, and dedicated hash house harrier. Say hello to the audience there, ABO.
Okay, he's a long time hasher. I guess I first started hashing in 1980. I told you my dates were bad. 1984 in Brunei for 2 years. And then came back after 2 years in 1986 and joined a hash that we now know as the Puget Sound Hash House Harries, run number 100. Okay, so that's my initial start with my hashing career. We can go on from there, I guess.
I think when you were hashing in Brunei, it was known as the SBS. Is that right?
No, it was the BSBH3, Bandar Seri Begawan Hash House Harriers. And that was quite an amazing thing because I'd gone out to Brunei. I'd actually quit Boeing and I'd been offered a contract for a couple of years in Brunei. And I got out to Brunei and I got this house, 6,000 square foot house they gave me, right stuck next to a jungle with a goddamn great fence around it. And my neighbour up the road, gave the name of Roger Page, a Brit. He came down, and our claim to fame in the evening was we'd sit in my house and he'd bring his blowpipes over and we'd be shooting at the goddamn geckos on the walls in the house. That was our entertainment. And he said to me, "Do you want to come hashing?" I said, "What the hell is a hash?" He said, "Well, we go running in the jungle." I said, "What for?" He said, "Well, we follow a trail, run in the jungle, and when we come out, we drink beer." I said, "Well, shit, the getting out bit sounds good. Drink beer, let's, I'll give it a try." But I thought it kind of sounded a little dangerous, but I was pretty fit back in those days. And so I went to this first hash with Roger. I got in running in the jungle. There was like 100 guys, and they all disappeared. I mean, they got. 1 minute I was with all these guys filing into the jungle, and next thing you know, shit, I'm on my own. This is kind of terrifying, so I get speed up and try and catch up with some of these guys. They didn't catch up with many, but the exhilaration of running in the jungle, when I came out, eventually in the jungle we had like 3, maybe 4 checks, and each check was after about probably 40 minutes of running, maybe less than that, maybe 30 minutes of running. So it would have been probably 3 checks, 30 minutes running. And you get to a check and then you hear the hash horn blowing from where the new check started, somewhere in the jungle. So you pour through the jungle, get onto the next check and pick up it, start running. He's standing at the start of the new trail in the jungle. Absolutely exhilarating. By the time I got out of there, I was so goddamn pumped up. Grabbed a beer. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever done, that first run in the jungle. So from there on, couldn't miss a hash after that. Every week we had a hash. It kicked off at Thursday at 5 o'clock at night. It started exactly at 5, all men, no goddamn women, all men, and in the BSB hash, we probably had 80 or 90 at that time, and in the Brunei hash, which was the original mother hash there, they had 100 runners, but they cut the amount of guys allowed to come into the hash at 100 because it gotten too big. So that was when a guy by the name of Strugnell, British guy, he started the BSBH3. Absolutely amazing JGM. This guy was brilliant, and he'd harass the shit out of all these guys after we got out of the run, we had the Chinese guys came up with this huge esky warm beer. They'd throw it all into this esky in the water, throw in a ton of ice, and within seconds the beer's ice cold. You can grab a beer out the esky and they're unlimited beer, and the Chinese guys just keep filling the esky up with beer and throwing more ice in until you're all flat out on your back. And in the meantime, they've got a couple of local coolies. They're cooking up some curry or some shit in this little jungle hut you're in. And then we'd go all drunk, destroy the hut, pay for the hut, and then all fuck off home. And I'd get home and I'd get to my house, which was, like I say, it was about 6,000 square feet. It was huge. I'd get outside my house and I'd be covered in mud and crap and shit. And I wore a pair of golf trousers and a t-shirt. And I just dropped the whole lot at the front door, leave it there, because the next morning my armor would come in, pick up all this crap, take it, wash it, iron it, and have it all fresh and ready for me for the next hash. So it was all ready the next day. And it was a different life. So 2 years of hashing in the jungle. When I came back here and joined the Puget Sound Hash House Harriers on run number 100, and I think Andy Dick was the hare on that first run, and it was a pretty good run compared with, you know, a lot of the Puget Sound Hash House Harrier runs, and that's mainly because a lot of the guys that lay the runs with the Hash House Harriers Puget Sound really are not quite sure what the hell a hash run really is, and so they're not sure how to, they've never been experienced a jungle run, so their tendency is to make them too much pavement and not enough off-road. Because my claim to fame is, I figured when running with the Puget Sound, if you're on pavement, you're lost. You should be in the bloody woods somewhere, because we've got so many gorgeous woods around here that it's criminal not to be running in the woods. But from one run number 100 to what we're at right now, number 1200, I've probably run maybe roughly 1/4 of those runs. And that's not because I didn't want to run more, it's mainly because the body gets beat up to shit in the process, and you break things and you lose things, and you know, things go bad and you're not there. And so I'm not a long-time hasher like my good friend Gary fucking Crazy is here.
The years and the beers take a toll.
Do they ever? But you know, don't let the bastards beat you down. Keep drinking beer, because the second you lose the ability to drink beer, you're fucked. You got to keep going.
And we probably want to point out to our audience that Bandar Seri Begawan in Brunei is a sovereign nation wedged between Malaysia and Indonesia on the island of Borneo, not too far off the equator, if I recall.
Yep.
And when you talk about jungle, you mean
real jungle.
Jungle.
Hot and humid as hell. And we'd be on the start of a run there in the jungle, 5 o'clock in the evening, just about to start off, and a huge goddamn black cloud had come over there, and lightning coming down, kaboom, 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 torrential rain, and you're soaking wet, but you're warm. It's kind of nice. You think, well, that's kind of cool, you know, not as humid as it was, because now all this rain's coming down, come pouring down. And then the second the hash horn blows and you're off into the jungle, you're gone, because your mind just gets focused on running in the jungle. And one of the runs I was on, which was a joint BSB and Brunei hash run, I was following this guy that was from the Brunei hash, and at that time I'd probably only run I don't know, 30 runs maybe with BSBH3. This son of a bitch, he'd run over 200 runs. And he got lost. But I'm following this son of a bitch in the jungle. And I saw this sign, and the hares had put on the sign, big warning, hornet's nest, with a big arrow pointing toward this hornet's nest. You think, oh shit, that can kill you in the jungle, bloody hornet's nest. You get those mothers going, they're probably the most dangerous thing you're going to come across. So I followed this asshole, and next thing you know, it's about just gone 6 o'clock, and so the dark came in. And when you're in the jungle with these damn trees that cover your total canopy covering your head, when it gets dark, it doesn't get dark, it gets black. And I can be talking to you here, and shit, all you can see is like your t-shirt. You can't see any face, and you can hear a voice, but that's it. Well, it just happened. I'd previously gotten lost in the jungle, and when I realized what a pain in the ass it was, because if you got lost and you were on paper, you were okay, because the hares were coming backwards and get you out. But you were off paper, you were fucked, because unless you got real lucky and somebody somehow managed to find you, you're there all night. And the most dangerous thing in the jungle all night is the goddamn mosquitoes. They eat you alive. And I'd gotten stuck in this bloody jungle, but I was on paper. So the hare came in backwards, got me out, and I thought, shit, I'm never going in there again without a compass, which I did. And I had my armor sewing a little flashlight into my shoulder pad. So I had a flashlight and I had a compass. So now I'm with this guy that's done over 200 runs, that's lost in the jungle, right? And it's gotten dark, and so we sat down, because we're off paper, we're lost, and so we decided to have a little confab to figure out how the hell we're going to get out of this shit, because I don't want to spend the night getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. And just then we heard this boop, boop, boop. And I said, God damn, that's the hash horn. He's blowing this. So I took a compass bearing on this hash horn, and it was exactly true north of where we're sitting here in the dark. And so I said to this guy, look, you get ahead of me about 3 yards and just go straight in the direction that I'm going to shine the flashlight. Because I'm going to head my compass here, keep it on north, keep your flashlight pointing north, and you just go straight fucking north, don't deviate. But in the jungle you can't go forward because it gets so thick, and so it points. He's going backwards. He's forcing his way through all this crap, and we're going and going and going, and this sound gets boop, 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 a little louder. And the closer we got, and it probably took us maybe, well, before we even reached there, we'd come across these dirty little muddy streams in the jungle, and maybe, I don't know, 6 foot wide. You couldn't see what the hell was in there, whether it was snakes or crocs or what the shit. So I said, hey, jump in there quick. And as soon as he jumped in, man, I'm scrambling across his back so I didn't have to get too wet to get out the other side before whatever was in there, because he made a big splash. It would scare the shit out of whatever was in there. So, but I didn't want to be too slow and get eaten because he'd made the big splash on. So I'm out the other side. And then finally, we reached this horn. It's going beep, beep, beep. Got louder and louder and louder. And damn me, this guy's sitting there, and it's the hare from the other hash. And he's sitting there blowing his horn. And I said, well, what the hell are you doing here? He said, I had a flashlight, and I knew you hadn't come through the third check because I missed that guy that was wearing the golf trousers, blue golf trousers, so I knew you hadn't been through. So I waited for you to come through, and then my flashlight failed. So he said, by then it got dark, so I was screwed. So I had to sit there and wait for the hash, because he was on paper. So he was waiting for the hare to come back round and pick him up. And so that's why he wasn't being nice, he was just, had nothing else to do. So he was, since it was black and he was kind of, I wouldn't say scared, but nervous, he's blowing his damn horn all the time. So we get there and he says, holy shit. He said, the first time I've gotten lost in the jungle, some guy comes up and he's got a compass and a flashlight. He says, boy, did I get lucky. So then, boom, and I don't think we were more than 10 minutes from getting on out. But, you know, in the jungle, you don't know that. And of course, because the hares hadn't reached us, we got out. And so that was part of the exploits of BSBH3. Probably, and I've ran in a bunch of hashes since then, ranging from hash in Riyadh. I ran in a hash in Riyadh for a year, running a hash in Singapore for over a year, ran in Wales, all over the place, but all the and the you know, our hash here, BSBH3. But there was absolutely nothing to compare with the BSBH3. That was real hashing. It was just wonderful. Incredible part of my life.
Did you ever get the opportunity, say years later, to go back to Brunei and
I did.
Look them up? And
I did. We went. In fact, I took my wife back. We went back and we were on a cruise. And to show you how much the Sultan had invested in the country in infrastructure, he'd built so many new freeways, roads, and modernized the houses and stuff. I couldn't even find the damn house I lived in. I think it'd gotten knocked down. I'm not sure. But I didn't get on a hash. I would have liked to have done a hash run, but we were only in port for like a year. I mean, a year, a day. So there wasn't an opportunity to change it. And the other thing that had changed in that time was because the Muslims had made it a little more, I guess you would call it fundamental, a little stricter, where we had expat clubs when I was there where they served beer and you could get as much beer as you wanted. It was all being tightened up and being regulated much more, and the Sultan's religious police were given a lot more pressure to prevent, you know, these expats running around the jungle drinking beer.
very good.
How did you get your hash name?
ABO? Well, when I think I said earlier, when I got here to the BSBH3, the Puget Sound hash house Harries, I was forever spouting off about if you're on a road you were lost. And I put a hash run on here that was over in the Lake Sammamish Park, and I made the mistake of getting a couple of hash guys that only came, I don't know, half a dozen runs maybe, and they co-haired with me. I don't even remember their names now. But that run, I I titled the damn thing Crocodile Dundee and the Aborigines. And I guess after that run it kind of got picked up that I might have not been Crocodile Dundee, but I was a fucking Aborigine because it was all in the woods there. And it was a long run. It was like 2, maybe 3 hours long. It was a long run. And I think 90% of the hash got lost and all finished up back at the Joker pub, all pissed off because the whole half of the trail that my cohairs had laid, I hadn't trained them properly, so nobody could find the trail. So everyone had been running around in the park going nowhere, so they're all pissed off. I think it was voted one of the worst runs of the year, and a fucking Aborigine, he got us all lost. So I finished up there with ABO, which is an abbreviation of Aborigine. Not Crocodile Dundee as it should have been.
Do you remember your first circle? I mean, was that a significant part of your early on? I mean, did that stand out to you, what went on in the circle after the run?
I don't specifically remember the first one, which would have been in Brunei. But I will say this, John Struggles, he had the best damn circles ever. Anyone, bar none. I mean, he'd have these guys, maybe 100 guys, all sitting in some sort of covered crap in the jungle, and we're being served curry or something and a ton of beers and whatever. And Struggles, he would stand up, kind of like on whatever the highest point was in there, and he'd go around and he'd be giving so much rational shit to everybody. And, you know, and these guys, I mean, you never know who the hell they were. Some were, you know, could be high British diplomatic guys, they could be high American diplomatic guys, they could be the local damn cleaner, but there wasn't, I don't think, too many cleaners, but they were mostly, you know, pretty highly educated, articulate guys. And Struggles would run into these guys and just bring them right down to size. He was a piece of work. Unfortunately, I saw him many years later in Australia, and he developed goddamn dementia, one of the, you know, Alzheimer's or all that same shit, and it destroyed his mind. So destroyed the, you know, what was the best JGM I'd ever come across. But yeah, he did a circle that was second to none. And songs, I mean, that's where We Are Warriors came from. And some of the other songs that I picked up were all from BSBH3.
Would you like to tell that joke?
Which one?
We Are Warriors joke. Rifles, bullets.
Well, it's not a joke, it's a song.
Oh, it's a song. Oh, you always told it sort of a joke, I thought.
No, that's a
No.
song.
Oh, a song, okay.
We can-
You want to sing it?
Well, we can, I think, kind of impromptu. We are warriors.
We are
Warriors. We are brave.
We are brave.
We have rifles
We have rifles.
rifles
and bullets.
and bullets.
Came across. Shit, I gotta
Across the
remember.
river.
It came
the river.
across a river.
Came across a river.
Can't go under it.
Can't go
under it.
Can't go over it.
Can't go over it.
Have to go through it.
Have to go
Through it.
We are warriors.
We are warriors.
We are brave.
We are brave.
We have rifles
We have rifles
and bullets.
and bullets.
Came across a jungle.
Came across a jungle.
Can't go over it.
Can't go over it.
Can't go under it.
Can't go under it.
Have to go through it.
Have to go through
Through it.
We are warriors.
We are warriors.
We are brave.
We are brave.
We have rifles
We have rifles
and bullets.
and bullets.
Came across a mountain.
Came across a mountain.
Can't go over it.
Can't go over it.
Can't go under it.
Can't go under it.
Can't go through it.
Can't go through it.
Have to go around it.
Have to go around it.
We are warriors.
We are warriors.
We are brave.
We are brave.
We have rifles
We have rifles
and bullets.
and bullets.
Came across a woman.
Came across a woman.
Can't go over it.
Can't go over.
Can't go under it.
Can't go under.
Can't go around it.
Can't go around her.
Have to go through it.
Have to go through her.
We are warriors.
We are warriors.
We are brave.
We are brave.
We have rifles
We have rifles
and bullets.
and bullets.
So that was one of the many from the. And in fact, it's interesting because I wonder whether Jolly Green Knob knows that one.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I'll have to ask
because
him.
Jolly Green Knob knows every goddamn song there is.
Yeah.
Except I hope I do say, "Oh shit, I didn't know that."
Yeah.
Because then he'll learn it and he'll make it really get going.
What's the next topic on your cheat sheet here?
Oh, that was just chronologically. Not your cheat sheet, Gary. You're supposed to be the interviewing major.
That's why I asked you. What's next on your cheat sheet?
Oh, I don't have any next. I'm just listening here to answer your questions. You know, whatever. Shoot it at me. I mean, I can go on from hashing onward at other parts of the world I've worked in that I hashed in.
How about the inner hashes?
Never went to it. Well, that's not true. I did go to one Nash hash in Thailand when I was working in Brunei, and that was this son of a bitch. It was the longest hash run I've ever been on. It must have been 5 hours, and most of it was on bloody beaches in Thailand. And you ever tried running on sand for hours and hours and hours? Man, if that's gonna fuck you and put you to sleep that night, I mean, it's just exhausting. That was a little different, you know. Thailand was, was only there because our airline, Royal Brunei, flew from Bandar Seri Begawan to Thailand, so I went to Thailand to this Nash hash as I flew on the same airline I was working with to Darwin, Australia. I didn't hash there. But that was very interesting. 20-foot damn saltwater crocodiles. They're kind of mean. And then, you know, with when I was working in Brunei, I was home every 6 months for 3 weeks. So it was, you know, being paid, and it was pretty nice, you know.
Is that Nash hash? Was that in Pattaya or Phuket or?
No, it was in Bangkok.
Something.
Hey, there's no beaches in Bangkok.
Maybe.
Where were you anyway?
I mean, hell, by the time I get there, you grab some beers, you know, jump on some coach or some damn thing. You have no idea where the hell you're going, where you finish up. All I know is that it was running on beaches and it was a bitch. But I mean, I flew in and out of Bangkok, so that's. And hey, you're talking about now, back in 1986, 85, 86. I can't even remember last week, never mind 85, 86. That's going back a long way. It's pressing my memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea the origin of circles, the circle process in the hash?
None whatsoever. My only knowledge of the origination of the hash was GS Gisbert, and the closest I ever came to that was when I was out in Singapore. I was in Singapore for a year and ran with the Singapore hash out there. And at Changi there was a war memorial there with GS Gisbert's name inscribed on it. So I felt kind of honored to have been there. My only guess is kind of from my own background. As a kid in school in England, I went to an all-boys school, and the whole hashing concept came from the hare and hounds concept, which is where at school you'd have the hares run off and lay a paper trail, and you give them a period of time to start, and then the rest of the damn school, the kids would try and catch them to sort of beat them into the dust. So the hares took off like bloody rabbits and didn't want to be caught. I don't recollect us having at school any kind of circle or anything like that afterwards, but I can imagine Gisbert being out in Malaysia after or before World War II. Those Brit guys are pretty inventive on figuring out how to do something when you're bored. And drinking beer is a good start, but then after that they get kind of bored on drinking beer, so they want to do something else, so they start singing. And I would imagine it developed from there, that after the hash they just had a few beers and started. So and typically Brits also like to tell jokes and shit like that. So the whole idea, and this is the thing that is kind of lost with the hash, is that the whole idea of that original hash was that guys got together, they drank beer, they told jokes, they sang, they had a good time, but there was no conscience, no mother looking over and say, hey, you can't say that, you can't do that, whatever. It was let all loose shit loose and have a great time, and then wake up next day tomorrow and don't remember it because you got so blasted. All you know is you had a good time. And that's unfortunately coming to the States, where I think we now have like 3 hashes that all men on. I've run 2 of those. I've run Washington DC, and I've run Puget Sound, which is 2 of them. I think Ransom the 3rd, and I'm not sure, are there any other all-male hashes in the States?
Not to my knowledge.
Don't think there is.
Us, Puget Sound, Rumson, and
Washington DC.
DC.
And I remember those 2, and they were pretty they're pretty good hashes, but we're getting a lot of guys now into the Puget Sound that have a conception of a hash. They have no real cure. Even the inter-hashes are kind of getting diluted, because now they got a ton of women coming in and they start getting rolls and start making money, and it's not. For example, in Singapore, when I was running with Singapore, the Chinese have an interesting philosophy on the hash, and I really like it, because they'll say, okay, there's no hash charge every week, but what there is everyone in the hash is expected to lay a hash run. And when you lay a hash run, that means you lay the damn lot. You lay the run. Get to before we start.
You're talking about
You're
mixed
talking
hash.
about the inner hashes where women were starting to, or some of the people are getting a little more delicate about what they say and sing, and
Yeah, well, I don't want to get critical, but the good old American lady is a strong lady, and they take over most of the guys here. And the end result is, as soon as they found out hashing was a good idea and wanted to join, so they pussy whipped all their bloody husbands, and now most all the hashes in the States are all joint hashes. And and then they bring their kids along, and then they don't want to hear swearing and this and that and the other, and the debauchery that hash is all about in the first place. So it kind of goes around in a big catch-22. It's not a hash any longer. It's a social event run by the Women's Club, which is, I guess, why the Puget Sound Nobles hash got formed, because they got so pissed off because we wouldn't let them join our men's only hash. They independently formed their own hash. But anyway, Gary had just said, you know, what was it like out in Riyadh, running in the desert? And I can tell you one thing, in the middle of summer I was out there and it was 127 degrees. Now that is goddamn hot. And it's hot that it just cuts the skin right off your face. You think, shit, this is hot. And, but yet, you know, it's a very dry heat, so, and the wind's blowing. You know, at 127, you've got a 30-mile-an-hour wind blowing in your face. Because it just, I guess, that's the way where the temperature profiles go. They blow hot winds. And
Was Groper hashing there during the time you were hashing there?
Never knew any of those guys. No, I think they were out there. Groper and what the hell was it? John
Moe?
Moe. They were out there, I think, about a year before I was out there, and then they came back, and then they formed BSBH3. I mean, Puget Sound Hash House Harries. And but no, in Riyadh, the desert, it was quite amazing because it wasn't flat. There was some fairly high kind of cliffs and sort of, I wouldn't call them mountains, but cliffs that provided shade in some points, and deep valleys and crevasses you could get into that provided shade too, that you could run through. But worst of all was that it wasn't sand you were running on in Riyadh. It was kind of like little pieces of concrete that were 2 or 3 inches in size, and you'd run through them and they'd come up and they'd nibble away at your sneakers. And a pair of sneakers would last a month. They'd all get nibbled away because these rocks kept coming up and nipping chunks out of your sneakers.
So they're sharp.
Yeah, I mean, they were
God
just...
forbid you should take a spill.
Yeah. Which, incidentally, I'm going to jump back and right back to Bandar Seri Begawan when I was talking about dropping my clothes off outside my house for my armor to fold and whatever. I forgot to add that after I did that, then I would go and walk into my house naked, switch on the shower, and shower off, and then I'd get some English Dettol, which was an antiseptic, and I'd rub that all over my skin, because the most dangerous thing in the jungle is all the little scratches you get, and the son of bitches will turn poisonous. And so you rub all this Dettol all over your body to antiseptic, so that you know, you're not going to get ill. And the other thing that I did when I was out there was I always drank every day a can of tonic water, because the tonic water had
quinine?
Yeah, quinine in it. And because they said, oh, there's no mosquitoes in Brunei. Well, bullshit. They didn't stop on the border didn't say no mosquitoes over here between Malaysia and Brunei. Fucking mosquitoes. You could get dengue. In fact, my neighbor, Roger, he got dengue fever.
Oh, yeah.
And that is nasty shit. So I always made sure every day I drink my can of, which is why the Brits invented gin and tonic in the first place, because they wanted to make sure that they stayed alive.
Well, I was going to ask if you topped off your quinine with a little gin, maybe.
Never did. I've never been a big, never really been a big drinker of what we call shorts in England. Always been a beer guy. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It was because when I first got married, on my honeymoon, which will be 66 years ago next week, on that night I was drinking rum and black, which is rum and blackcurrant wine mixed with rum, and I drank too many of those things, and I spent my whole bloody honeymoon night leaning out the window throwing up from the second story down. So and that cured me, and next day I woke up and drank some water and I was drunk again from the previous shit I drank the previous night. So and so it kind of cured me for life. So I've been a beer drinker ever since.
All in all, what'd you like most about the hash? What attracted you to continue hashing?
The hash is a very unique thing, and the characters that enjoy it are very unique characters. It's not for everyone, it's probably 5% of guys. The Brits like it, because I think the Brits are pretty stupid. But expats, Americans are not that big into it. Aussies and New Zealanders, they're into it big time, and they really get into it. Occasionally you get, hardcore Americans like FC and yourself and Snowballs and Puss Sucker that, are good hashers and have enjoyed it and I think understand it better than the average guy here. Just doesn't understand it, I don't think. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I'll go back to something you said earlier about how the hash has evolved, if you will, or perhaps devolved. That back in the early 80s, Puget Sound was founded in 81. I joined 2 years later, and I was young and single at the time, as quite a few of us were. Let's say guys like Gallopin, let's say, or Snowballs. And yeah, we enjoyed the fact that it was just guys. On the other hand, since we were all single, young and single, we were kind of on the prowl for
Sure.
women. So when the Seattle Hash was formed in 85, and we got wind of that, of course, we were all over that, which did not diminish our loyalty to the Puget Sound at all. And there were quite a few of us that wound up finding wives thanks to the hash.
Yeah.
And the wives, of course, some of them were hashers as well. Some weren't hashers, but were hash tolerant.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, my problem is when that hash tolerance turns to hash manipulating. When they start being the bloody boss of what you can do and what you can't do. Because the whole point of a hash is its freedom. You should be able to do exactly what the hell you, and be as outrageous as you want to be, but it's accepted. If the guy's a nutcase, let him be a bloody nutcase. Let him get on with it. But
yeah, a thick skin might be the most important criterion for a hasher, I think. Pretty much nobody is safe. Race, creed, color, religion, nationality, ethnic, gender preference, all of the above. Everybody's vulnerable. Everybody's a target.
Yeah, but interesting enough, the way hashing has evolved, and this might be kind of a little controversial, but I have never seen in any of the hashes I've been in a large, or actually hardly any, coloured population that have come in and joined the hash, and I don't know why. I've seen a lot of Chinese come in, they enjoy it, and I've seen Malaysians and Thais and different Orientals, but I don't know, maybe it's just we think differently, who knows.
Kenya was a big contingent of blacks
Say that again?
in Kenya.
I've never run in a hash run in Africa.
I was
A lot of blacks.
they
Well, I would imagine.
they assigned me some guy to run with, and this guy was running slow. And for about 2 miles, I'm going, "What's wrong with this guy?" And I said, "Can you run faster?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he says, "Can you?" And I go, "Yeah, let's go." And so we actually caught up with the pack.
He was just being polite.
Yeah, without saying,
Yeah.
how fast can you run? Because I mean, I was frustrated at first, but then after that, it was fun.
Was that in Mombasa?
No, that was Nairobi.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You might want to, next chance you get, talk to Jolly Green Knob, because he was on assignment there.
That's
for
right,
the
yeah.
U.S. Embassy.
Yeah.
So he's hashed in Africa.
Yeah, he probably is your next assignment to make a video of, because now Jolly Green Knob is, what comes into my definition as one of the few real hashers, because he has really hashed around the world, and that is, where he's picked up all this knowledge, because he's actually been there and done these hashes for real in different countries around the world with the American Foreign Service, and that's typically where all those hashes came about. It was only they were earning a lot of money, but they're overseas, but they got nothing to do, and so they're bored. So what the hell do we do? Well, I hear there's some Brits started a hash down the road. I don't know what the hell it is, but let's join it. They must be doing something. And they would join. They'd be great hashers. Yeah, great hashers. And oil company executives too. You found a lot of those. They typically would, Dutch oil company executives, American oil company executives overseas. Yeah.
And Boeing as well, and a lot of the multinationals. I recall Groper telling us a tale from Riyadh where they, if they wanted to consume alcohol, they could do it, but within the compound.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said they used to go to the grocery store and buy wine bricks, which was simply concentrated frozen grape juice.
Well, see, when I was in Riyadh, I wasn't in a compound. I was staying in a hotel. I'm not sure why, but that's the way it worked out. I could care less because it was a fancy hotel and I had this huge bed and I could go to the compound any time. So I'd go over, and in fact I'd stay at weekends over in the compound with, there was a Norwegian guy that was, he was chief of the construction of the hangars at the airport at Riyadh. And in the compound, they'd make this fucking stuff called Siddiqa. And you drink too much of this shit, it would actually turn you blind. And so they're brewing this Siddiqa in the compound, and then because you could go to the store, you could buy non-alcoholic beer, you could buy non-alcoholic wine, you could buy yeast, and you could buy, and you just took it to the compound, got a big plastic tub, and throw all this crap into the plastic tub. Next thing, you got beer, or you got cider, or whatever the hell you put into the tub. And so the compounds were, hey, they were non-stop bloody parties where they're getting pissed out of their minds. And the thing was, the women were in the compound, so that's why that's why it was kind of nice for me to go over to visit, because you saw a female, every now and again. But even those females actually in Riyadh did run in the desert, and they enjoyed it. And of course they run in these little tiny shorts and whatever, so it wasn't too shabby. But in the compound, you get whatever the hell you wanted to drink: cider, beer, Sadiqa, whatever else. Somebody was brewing something, they were more than happy to, hey, you want to try this? Yeah, different world in compound there.
Last question. Trying to think of one. You're very complete, Evan. Very thorough.
You ever hash in South America?
Never did. I've been all the way around South America, round the Horn and back up the other side. And the only thing I'd say about South America is don't bother to go to Brazil. Too much crime, too much. There's a couple of places in Brazil that were nice. One was where Brigitte Bardot, if you remember her, used to go to. She has a statue there on the beach in this little port place in Brazil. Very beautiful. But 90% of the places in Brazil are just crime-ridden, undesirable places to go to. Many other parts of the world that are better. Even Rio. And Rio's a joke. I mean, I tell you, we went into Rio when they had the carnival on, and we pulled in our cruise ship. There must have been 10 or 12 cruise ships all lined up along this thing to go into Rio. And there's these floats going by and music going on and all the rest of this shit. And then I'm looking out of my balcony, I'm looking down along one of these ships unloading, and coming out of this ship is about 1,000 guys, and they're all nude. And they all start making out. You go, what in the hell are these guys doing? And that was Rio. I mean, all the music's going and all buggering each other, and you go, Jesus Christ, get me out of here. I mean, say no more about Rio.
Gay cruise.
Yeah.
Well, it's Lent, you got to cut them a little slack.
Okay. I don't know what it was, but Brazil. You could, they're gonna be Brazil forever, I think.
What kind of hashing did you have in New Zealand?
I never did have any hashing in New Zealand, but I can tell you this: New Zealand is the world's best kept tourist secret. If I was a young man, I'd be there in a goddamn heartbeat. New Zealand is absolutely beautiful. It has no political problems, no social problems, just a beautiful country, and the people, just incredible, absolutely incredible. And the countryside, gorgeous. I guess there was either a hash there or
Oh yeah, there still are a
There are a
lot.
lot of hash.
Is that the ones coming up there?
No, they had the interhash last year, I think.
Queenstown.
Queenstown did, but they've had another one. I went to the one in Rotorua in '94. So yeah, they're big. I mean, they're big on hashing.
And how did you like New Zealand when you were there?
Oh, fantastic! I mean, Karen and I did a bike ride around it. I've been there several times.
Yeah.
But they have social, they have social issues with the Maori, just like we do with the blacks.
kind of, but
I
yeah.
mean, not to the same extent. But
Exactly. I mean, yeah, I say no problems. Yeah. It's always going to be problems because there's always somebody stirring some damn thing up or whatever. But In the main, they don't.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
All right, I'm finished.
Well, I don't know. Did you cover everything you wanted to cover?
No,
I
and
think
then
so.
some. It was a very good